I'm gonna hold off on, we'll have 3 batches of minutes to approve at the next meeting. Because we're a little backed out. We don't have that. So I will get the rest of them. We have September 25th in front of you, but nobody had it in front of you earlier. So, and that was a long meeting that entailed a lot of things. So if people could just send me a note if I need to change anything. And the meeting before that, we didn't approve the minutes, and then we'll have this one. So we'll have 3 sets of minutes to approve. Apologize for being behind. Chris.
So once again, I'm going to say the same thing. We've had a good meeting. We've had a good season so far. Few things going on. We're looking at the possibility of hiring 3 more assistants summertime, which won't affect our cost because it's hours. It's an hourly thing, and we figure in so many hours patrol. So we're looking at possibly 3 more assistants. Our mooring permits and all our billing has gone out for the 10As, dinghy docks, kayak racks, and moorings themselves. Then, as soon as that's done, the mooring list will start to move. We've identified a bunch of moorings in the side of the bridge that haven't been used, have been abused, neglected, and there's been a bunch of them that have been taken away. So that'll start to, the people will start to see that on the list soon after the building's done.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When you say a bunch, what number are we talking about?
I can't really tell you right now. I can't really say right now because some of them are still
Fighting.
being questioned. You know, so they have the ability to go to the state and appeal it. So there are, I know there's 8 of them right now that are definite. Beyond that, I won't know until.
How many are questionable?
Some more. That's all I'm gonna say.
Like up to 10
yeah,
or beyond?
Beyond.
Okay.
So there's quite a few. I mean, that's a lot of movement in this little area. We haven't seen that kind of movement in quite a while. And our plan is to head to Lobster Cove area next and work our way back down the river.
Gotcha.
So, that's what I have right now. So I'm going to say something about facilities. Go ahead.
By bridge, what bridge do you mean? The Lobster Cove Bridge?
Everything on this side of the bridge.
On the side.
The coverage, yeah. So this is off track a little bit for facilities.
Can I go back to the mortgage for one more quick second? I remember what my other question was. So all the bills going out, like, are there like 1 or 2 people who drop off when the bills go out, or?
Typically there's some, but not in here. You know, sometimes you'll have somebody give it up. Or death in the family, it's, you know, the mooring holder, they'll give it up. So there might be a couple of those.
So then after all that happens, we would know the number.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So for facilities, I'm just going to jump ahead a little bit. We had one of our floats down here at Solomon Jacobs fail, one of our finger floats. It rolled over. Luckily, it didn't break completely free. So one of the 1-inch cables snapped with all this wind, rolled the float almost all the way over. Luckily, we had our little mooring barge tied to it, so it didn't roll it completely. We're in the process now of getting pricing. So we have about $5,000 worth of cable that we just got today. We have a cathodic isolation machine and wiring was ripped out. That's $5,000 for them to die for the day. And we're waiting for a contractor to come in and give us a price to put the float back together, just so everybody's aware. So
and the electrolysis.
The electrolysis machine is a cathodic isolating machine. So that's about $5,000, just over 5,000. So we're I would say we're talking a minimum of 15 grand. Minimum.
And this could be an insurance issue, correct?
Yes. Yes, we're looking into insurance issues. We're talking with the company who installed and designed the float system also.
And so the ice system was attached to that
float. It was attached to the float right next to it, and when it rolled, it ripped the wires off.
Or should we? Is there a way to inspect the rest of the float cables?
Yes, there is, and the marine company is going to give us some paperwork and instruction and timeline.
I mean, that cathode system is there, so this stuff doesn't
Right, so it
Go
doesn't
away.
go away the road.
corrode.
Was the cable corroded?
No, no, it just snapped.
They're not in the water,
No, they're not in the water.
so they're not in play.
Yeah, they just snapped. It's a 1 inch cable.
Just that much wind.
Well, I mean,
There's no pile there either. That's the only one of the most exposed in the southwest wind on the Coast Guard side. It doesn't get the protection of the main dock like the other two fingers. They hang off of the main dock, but they're protected. This one is on the opposite side. It's not protected. There's no piling holding it. It's just a few cables.
Just, is it anchored?
No,
Not even anchored.
no, no. All right, I just wanted to let people know what's going on with that. That's a big deal. So we're working on that as we speak. Cable showed up today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you have anything, do you want to skip the draft budget to get to finance and let anybody else that has, or are you ready to go on that too?
Whatever you.
Put it all together? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Anything else on your list any other
No.
surprises?
No, that's it. That's it.
All right.
Oh, I do have one more, bridge work. They're talking bridge work, just so everybody's aware. It's on the Waterway Board. They're talking January 5th to February 28th. It's gonna be closed, but you can pass under it and you can pass over it. From March 1st to March 22nd, the channel's gonna be closed completely. Can't pass under it, but you can still pass over. Just so everybody has.
What was it? January what?
January 5th to the 28th.
that's scallop season.
Well, so there is scallop season going on right now. It's not the big one, the Gulf of Maine one that they normally everybody comes down from Maine. That one starts April 1st. So there is a scallop season now.
Yeah, that small one out
The
the bay.
small one out in the bay, Olivet Point. That is probably, just thinking about it, it's probably going to affect maybe 10 to 12 boats. Probably 25 trips each boat. That's a smaller of the two. We're still working with the Coast Guard, the bridge people to figure out, what's going on. That's a different topic. I just wanted to let you know that they are talking about, shutting the bridge down. Yes.
How many people here saw that presentation? Saw it?
Yeah.
I tried to get it on Zoom and it failed.
So they changed it a little bit, not since the presentation, since the last time they did it. The last time it was a fixed bridge. This time it's going to be an open bridge. The temporary bridge is going to
Temporary,
open,
yeah.
and it's going to take 2 years to build the temporary bridge. Just so everybody's aware, it will open on demand.
And that starts at 28.
28, they're going to put it out to bid.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole project.
The really, the thing that's gonna, I think the most impact is all that stuff that's underneath now coming up onto the street. I don't think people understand how much that's gonna be.
No.
And how that's gonna look too with all that counterweight.
Yeah. They tried to make it look really pretty
In the
pictures.
picture,
Yeah.
I know, it's so pretty.
I mean, if they made it a single span, it's going to be up 90 feet in the air.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's a tall bridge. Every time it would blow out, they'd say, we can't close it or we can't open it, the wind. So.
Did you see the picture?
I missed that
No.
presentation.
Yeah. Here's something.
Phil, do you have any update from Karen on the boards, or can you guys?
I just have what I
Vote on
said.
that a little bit? Okay.
Still has it.
Okay.
So we did a little research on materials. We got prices from 3 different companies.
It's been a long time.
And we are pretty much ready. I haven't Regular, yeah. We're pretty much ready to order some materials, and the only thing we are gonna do is wait till the lobstermen have their gear off the pier, like off of their boats and in place. We don't wanna be working up there while they're dragging gear over it, tripping over each other, so. we're
How
just
many of the
waiting.
replacement boards go under the gear?
There'll be none, the gear is all in front, there's no
Yeah,
gear storage on
there's no gear on.
there's no, they're all out in front where
Okay.
we had them
And
last.
what about down at, you know where?
St. Peter's, they're storing gear back up there. We're still waiting for a yes or a no on the grant. And while we're waiting, have them put their gear there. You know, the council and the board, the council gave us 1 year. It was a 1 year permit to put stuff there, so. Unfortunately, next year, we get this grant and it happens, and the gear's gone. We'll have to go through the same process again, so. We'll deal with that. I think for now, it's a good thing. Let them put their gear up there. You know, we're not gonna be using it. They did the study. Nothing's gonna happen. Even if we get the grant, there's nothing that's gonna happen before the winter's over, so make it easy for them, you know, and stick by the rules. 5 high, rope,
Cleanliness.
buoys, yes, rope, buoys, all that
Cleanliness.
stuff needs to, not be there. Well,
And are they doing that?
they are.
Oh,
So
good.
far, yes.
Excellent.
Yes, we sent everybody letters, let them know what was going on at both marinas, and I talked to most of the guys.
Phil, do you know if there'll be a write-up that I can send to people about generating interest?
Karen has a, Karen and Chris.
Yeah, it'd be great if I could get my hands on that.
There was a press release, right, for the
There
paper
was.
originally?
Yeah,
It
Maybe
was, she's
that.
gonna do
They had
another,
a photo in there.
It's in that.
Yeah,
yeah, she wants to do another one, which is a good idea. We should do another one just to remind people,
Refresh people.
maybe right after the holidays. Might be a good time to do
And
that.
that flyer,
And then people can see it, once we start replacing boards down there, maybe we do a few boards and then press release and show them these new boards, flip painted railings.
and I designed that flyer, so she has copies of that. 20 of them?
how many, does anybody know the current number? Like how many?
There's about $7,000 that we've collected. Give or take, she said we got some more and some promises, so. So grab a calculator quick.
I'm doing 30 people. Yeah, we just need like double that, right?
Yeah, so I think she's,
Do you know about the buy board program?
I do.
I think she's gonna, like, try to push it right after the holidays, and
Okay.
do another press release.
Could have been a good Christmas present.
I know.
Just whatever a kid wants under the tree.
How you gonna fit that big, huge 20-foot board, 22-foot board under that tree?
Any other repairs or stuff at I4C2 that's happened since, because a
No,
lot was
No,
done.
we put,
really.
yeah,
You did
we
pretty
ran
much
a lot of
everything.
lights down, we replaced all the light bulb, we added new lights on the inside. We are gonna look at lights on the pier itself that shine down, that's different. The way it's set up doesn't really make sense. The actual fixtures have to be changed, not the lights. You can't just change a bulb, so. What else did we have? We had crane issues. The wires got pulled out of the crane, as they do once in a while. We had those fixed. That was a minor
And
repair,
what
minor
about
build.
the rods?
Rod,
Oh.
we haven't replaced any, but we have tightened a bunch of them. We painted, I don't know if we said that, we cleaned up and painted all the pedestals on I4C2. They were horrible looking, a mess. We painted them up and made them look pretty, put new light bulbs, all that good stuff.
And this is really circling back way back when, the cable rule about the electrical cables that all. went-
Yeah, so 99% of it, so now this winter time is here. I haven't looked for it, but before the winter, most of those cables went away and they went to the real cables. They
Okay.
went to the right cables. Now winter time, some people put block heaters.
That ordinarily
And
wouldn't be hooked
pads,
up to
so
shore
we'll take a look at it,
I
you
got
know,
you.
and see,
Alright.
but they're all pretty much compliant, nothing stuck out.
As opposed to extension cords?
Yeah, it has to be well listed, you know, a real extension.
That
It
was a,
can't be
that was
something
a
that you just
vote,
made
yeah,
up.
like last year at some
Yeah.
point where we had, you know. use
Yeah, and that was in the original, I think it's in there.
It
either
is, yeah.
The original regs or in their lease.
Anything else, Bill?
Nope.
Okay. Any news on the grant, or we don't have?
We don't have any news yet. Don't have any news yet.
It's gonna be a tough fiscal year. If they-
Yeah, that's gonna be a concern next year, because you just keep patching that back together. And I'm talking St. Peter's.
Yeah.
If the grant doesn't come through.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what we do every year.
You know, when I was here, he threatened to condemn it.
Yeah.
The building
inspector
inspector.
did. Yeah,
So,
yeah, I mean, we got on and buy a massive block of screws and replace boards. The DPW has been doing it too. I'm pretty sure, because there's stuff that we didn't do that's been done, so. I think Mike sends somebody down once in a while and just keep patching it up and screwing it back together and placing boards as we can.
All right, let's hope no more cars go in the harbor.
you ready for finance?
I am.
All right, we had a finance meeting on October 20th, attending with myself, Peter Young, Brian Clark, Tony Gross, the liaison from the council, and Donna Crocker. We had no oral communications. There was discussion amongst the committee about with the harbor master any upcoming expense he might have. The only thing at the time, Chris, was we have some electronics issues and fireboy systems for the launches.
For the launch, for one of the launches.
Is that something that's going to be springtime or?
I think both of those are gonna be springtime.
Okay. Also with the I-4C2, we're looking at fingers costing us around 40,000. You were gonna try to.
Yeah, see if we can get those twisted back the right way.
And
We
wait
did,
for weather for that.
yeah, well, we did a little investigation. I think there's some broken bolts that are right up against the dock where the main fingers, when the fingers meet the main dock, and that's causing a lot of the twist. So there's a diamond plate that's there.
On that, was it too?
Yeah, and the two fingers that are really twisted. I think one of the bolts is broken off on each of them, so we're gonna wait. If we have to pull that apart, we're gonna wait until the wind stops. We've been over a couple times, it's just too windy.
It's crazy.
The cold we can deal with, the wind, we can't. There's just too much force on with the wind blowing in this direction.
There was discussion on the amount of accounts that the Waterways would currently have. They're up to 6 accounts. And a motion was made by me and seconded by Peter to move the I-4C2 account and the St. Peter's account into the stabilization fund to cut down on the amount of accounts that we're carrying. It will be brought up on the next agenda of the full board for discussion. It's just a suggestion or a suggestion of the finance board.
At that point, we will have had another meeting and potentially would be able to, the way it's written in our regs is that there are only supposed to be 2 accounts. The boat ramp down at the high school is a separate thing because that has to stay contained within itself, but somewhere along the way, you know,
No,
more
You're
accounts.
interpreting that.
more accounts and more
I don't
accounts got
interpret it that
open.
way,
Which, Tony?
that you're only 2 general accounts, is what it's talked about in the charter or the ordinance, but you can have the stabilization accounts, because there's no prohibition on having more accounts.
Okay,
Okay, so that will be brought to the full board.
And they were created by the auditor and the treasurer, so.
Yeah, I didn't like the reason why they were created. I don't think that. And I mean, I think that came from you.
Yeah.
That they were trying to
Because
disperse
it wasn't-
money. They
it
didn't
wasn't
want a
no
big lump of
account.
money in one account that the city would be looking at. I don't.
There was no accounts. They were talked about that there were separate accounts a lot. They were referenced, but they didn't exist.
Didn't. They just don't get utilized at all. We don't. The general maintenance account pays for all repairs down there. That's good. So My suggestion, just a suggestion, the committee voted to send it to the full committee for discussion. That passed 3-0. Chris has already talked about the waiting lists, the mooring waiting lists. Jim talked about that earlier.
Oh, no,
That's something different. Okay.
That was definitely.
There are a lot of people that currently we charge what $15 per, and they can have 5 different areas.
For moorings.
So
yes.
people just go in and they automatically sign up for 5 areas. And then when you're trying to clear these lists in the spring, as I remember, Leslie has to give them a week every time or 2 weeks every time. And
somebody's name comes up.
it slows the process down tremendously with all these people taking up all these spaces. So the committee thought that we should, there's a minimal fee for the 5 spaces, and we thought we should cut that down to, what is it, $15 for 2.
Right now, the way the mooring list, anybody here on the mooring list, wait list? So you can pay $15 a year and have 5 spots. So you work your way up in various lists, right? It's there are a lot of people on the mooring list, so it's a healthy revenue, right? What we had, and I forget who brought it up, but what we had discussed is incentivizing maybe people to not be on 5 and to get the things moving a little bit faster and increase the revenue to the harbor master's office by giving people 2 spots for their $15 or 3 spots for their $15. And then if they want 2 more, they pay $15 for 2 more each.
Right.
So if you want to keep your 5 spots, it's 3 times 15, $45, which still, it's not that, but it may actually get people down to just having 3 instead of 5.
Oh, we left it open 2 or 3, I think is in the minutes. So when we bring that to the full
Right.
board, we can bring it up to discussion and how we can, and I've watched them try to fill this, and it takes a long time administratively to fill these mooring spots. And we're into the middle of the summer before some of these spots are even, and we actually, as a board, took it up and cut down the amount of time they had to make up their mind on. So we're just looking for ways to keep making this less administrative so that Leslie can get, she doesn't have to go through that process every time with 5 spots.
Right.
So we
that-
set it on 3 and 2, right?
We 15 or 2 or 3 places that we're going to leave it up to the board.
There's a little bit of so it would happen for everybody's paid for this season, right?
Yes.
So for the next season, hey, you're on 5, you're only going to get 2 or 3 now for your fee. You got to pay some extra for the other fee. And what's going to, it would force me to do is pick the ones that I really want and where I'm highest on the list and maybe let go of the other 2 or maybe pay for the other 2.
Or go the other 3.
Right. Yeah.
So that will be coming to you. Chris and I were talking about the upcoming budget that was brought forward because by ordinance, it's supposed to be done to the finance and then to the full board approval before it's sent to the city. Chris has been working on a spreadsheet, but Munis portal isn't available yet. I did text back and forth with Connor today, and he said it'll probably be the 1st of February before Chris is able to input all the numbers into Munis. But in the meantime, he's working on a spreadsheet, and maybe we can, for the next meeting, want to put up
A draft.
draft
Budget
spreadsheet.
that
Even though we can't put it in Munis,
Yeah.
bring the numbers to the board.
And I can have pretty accurate numbers. Salary projections are not out yet. With insurance and all that other stuff, that will not be probably until mid-January. But projected revenue and expenses, that we can do that.
Okay.
I have most of those numbers.
And that's the big thing. I mean, putting together the numbers that have to be imported into the city's Munis system.
Yeah.
When it has to be to the city in the system ready at April 1st or so, what's that date?
What's that, March? Is that March, 1st of March?
I don't know where it goes to the mayor's office.
Yeah, it's earlier than that. I think it's in March. Thanks.
So
Whenever they
along
put you on
that
the schedule.
line, right, we're really trying to have the Waterways Board, sort of take back some of the authority on the budget. Just so that we, as a board, have some oversight, know what's going on. That would mean a finance committee meeting before January 7th or 6th. And then, I was thinking we could do finance in January and then we could do a discussion and vote on the budget on the 1st. It would be February 3rd would be our meeting.
You wanna have your staff figures, right? Before you vote on the budget.
Right.
Yeah, this is just basically an informational to the
Right.
board. I mean, we'd have to have all the numbers in the Munis system before we could vote.
Well, you have to.
Yeah,
Just have to have all the
I don't
numbers.
think we do.
Well,
we have
if
to
the
have them in
Munis system
system.
opens up on the 1st of February, our meeting would actually be on the 3rd. So we could dedicate that meeting completely to, discussion, going through line items, people have questions, and then a vote on the draft budget for Chris to move forward with putting it into the system.
The last 2 years with this administration, and that could change with a new
Yeah, no,
administration.
Yeah, you gotta have the correct numbers,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's.
And they didn't want them on a spreadsheet. They
Yeah,
wanted them
they
in the
want,
Munis.
yeah, that makes sense.
You
That
know,
makes
I mean,
sense.
it makes more
So I
sense.
think, but what my point is before the board can vote on it, that needs to happen, so.
Right,
You know,
you're saying
if-
we want the numbers and he's saying we should have
Well,
accurate, not at the accurate
The
numbers
accurate,
of the salary.
if you're saying he's not
Can't
gonna have
project
the
it, we
salary,
don't know.
Right. No, I know, but we're talking 2 months away.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
may know that by then.
Yeah.
We may know them before then, and we could actually distribute sort of a draft of the budget so people can look at it, gather their questions before the meeting.
Before the meeting.
Yeah, and you know, something, if our salaries are all spelled out, I mean, we know what our
Pretty-
salaries
yeah,
are gonna
they're
be.
pretty
The
much
only
spelled out.
number that might change is the insurances.
Right, the insurances, yeah, we have insurances, our liability insurance, that kind of stuff.
you know what the
change
COLA is,
immediately. What's that?
and you know what the COLA is.
The other option on that is to find a later date in January and do a combined January, February meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I know the ordinance says that the finance committee has to do the budget and then send it, but still, I think we could do it a little ahead of time. And
Yeah, we could,
Yeah.
the finance committee, we could even do a Zoom, go through the budget.
Right.
And then say, we recommend this to go, to
To
go
the full
forward,
committee,
as long
yeah.
as the numbers are good, yeah. All right, so we'll plan on doing finance in January and then we'll do the full board budget meeting in February.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to go through any of those numbers or we'll just wait on?
We'll just wait on that.
Okay, all right,
I don't have them all.
okay. I got nothing. I don't even have minutes. All right, we don't have grants. And we are nowhere, last time,
No, I haven't.
the whole mud mooring thing was up at legal, we didn't know what we could do, what we couldn't do. Are we any further on that? Do we know?
Who's on my board?
Alan,
I'm sorry, I didn't. I
mud
was talking to
moorings,
John.
mud moorings. Are we dead in the water there or?
We are not dead in the water.
Okay.
I've talked to legal, I've talked to conservation, I've talked to shellfish, and I think the best way to do it that we talked about was, so an applicant has to fill out an application, bring it to the harbor master's office. It has to fit the criteria before it goes any further, which is helical mooring, bow and stern, responsible or reasonable sized boat, Because if you say it's gonna be a 16-foot aluminum boat or a 16-foot boat, if somebody's got a 16-foot one boat that weighs a half a pound more, I think we have to say reasonable size boat, and everything's a case by case basis. It meets the criteria, then it goes to conservation,
And they say no.
and conservation, so conservation can't say no.
Okay,
They have to have like a legit reason to, they can't just say no because they don't want them. It has to be a legitimate reason.
Can't be chained.
And then it goes to a site visit. So it can't be chain, it has to be something else,
Right.
helical mooring, with rope,
right.
so it can't scour the bottom.
Oh, I
It can't hinder navigation.
mean, the helical isn't any savior of, eelgrass or anything.
Just a lot smaller foot.
Yeah, that's all it is, it was 20,
Right.
so.
Right,
instead
no,
of
no, I
having-
know,
Yeah.
but as far as scouring goes, it doesn't make any,
Yeah, but it doesn't.
be chain versus rope.
The chain, yeah, it's chain versus rope.
Right.
The chain still, the rope still scours.
But yeah,
But
the
it doesn't
helical
scour.
picks up, rather than
Yeah.
a concrete disc.
On the reasonable size, because this was one of your big concerns that, somebody with a 30-foot boat wants a mud mooring. Could it say reasonable size under a certain?
Yeah, we can write anything we want.
Does that make sense to
But
you? Before,
I think to me, we've gone back and forth with a lot of people, different places, legal. I think if we leave it as a reasonable size boat at the discretion of the harbor master, because like I said, if we say it's 16 feet, you can have a 16-foot boat that weighs 10,000 pounds with 100 horse on. Or you can have a 16-foot boat that weighs 100 pounds with a 5 horse on.
Mm.
So there's
Could be a
that,
blow-up boat.
there's a big variable, so I think it needs to be at the discretion of,
I can't. Something, you can have an 18-foot old town canoe that does nothing,
yeah,
I mean.
yeah. Yeah, you could have a 20-foot
Could be
kayak that you
inflatable
go on
on
there, and you'll disqualify the
Be-
kayak that weighs 15 pounds.
I mean, I think it would be, there can be wording that puts in, it has to be a boat that would be suitable for a mud mooring to be determined by the harbor master.
Yeah, so I've been back and forth with different other communities and city legal and conservation, everybody. And that's kind of what we came up with.
Just so you're comfortable with being a possible hot seat.
And
And then, you got
Yeah.
thick skin, but just so, do you, in your mind, do you have a number? And maybe just go on with what you're saying. Do you have what's unreasonable?
I think anything over 20 feet is unreasonable,
With a V hump.
but there's 20-foot kayak.
Right,
There's
so
20-foot canoe,
that's the number.
so
That's
you
just,
can't-
just
if-
for our knowledge.
Yeah, 20 feet or below seems reasonable, but there again, you have a 20-foot boat that can have, I have a 23-foot boat that has a 250 horsepower. And the boat weighs 5,000 pounds, you can have a 20-foot boat or a 23-foot boat that weighs 1,500 pounds.
But we had, a couple meetings ago, we had a fella in here with a 22 Aquasport with a
Yeah.
200 Suzuki on the back. We mixed it.
Yeah, so it just, and I think it has to be on a case-by-case basis.
I do,
There's just too many variables. We had talked at that meeting and we came up with all these regulations and rules, and as I started talking to different communities and different harbor masters and people in the legal department, it was like, well, if you set that rule, you're stuck with it.
right.
If you say a 20-foot boat or a 16-foot boat, if it's an inch over,
Right.
you can't do it.
So you could actually say reasonable size and weight.
Yes, oh yeah.
At your discretion.
Yes,
and they'd always have the process where they could appeal to the board. I mean, that's,
absolutely.
I would say, put it with something that the boat has to be of a nature that it will not be destructive towards the bottom. And the boat any boat put on this mooring has to be pre-approved by the harbor master.
I'm gonna circle back on that. Does that ever have to come all the way back here, or you're just gonna make the rule and?
I'll make the rule.
Okay.
I don't see any reason for it to come to the board.
Okay,
The only way I would probably ever bring it to the board if it was somebody within my office.
I just didn't know if you wanted
Yeah.
sort of the board to say, yeah, we approved this language and,
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't have any problem with that. I mean, like I said, the only time I would bring something like that back to the board for a decision would be if it was somebody within my office, just to be transparent, you know. So they can't say, oh, you gave it to so-and-so and didn't give it to this one, you know.
gotcha. Anybody have anything else?
Not finance.
Motion to adjourn?
Well, we had any discussion items not reasonably anticipated.
That's what you just asked.
No, he said not finance, so I had to clarify. Yeah.
No way. No, any
All right.
agenda.
So we got a lead fleet for 2025 again.
Nice.
Right.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right. Look forward to the budget. All right. Go ahead.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's nobody in them.